Okay, on this video, we're gonna talk about the 3 best proteins for fat loss. And I wish I had known this sooner. And I'm so excited to have this information, to apply this information, and to share it with you. So are you ready? Here we go. Here are the 3 you need to be eating every single day if you can. Let's dive in. It's interesting because the protein conversation in nutrition has just been bubbling up and bubbling up and bubbling up. And I always like to look at trends. And so one of the trends that I saw is that we, of course, way back in the 1970s and 80s and 90s, we were like, oh, fat is really bad. And everybody went low fat. And that was like our strategy for fat loss, was avoid fat. And then all of a sudden we realized, wait a second, fat isn't that bad. We've got fat, good fat, and we've got bad fat. We really needed to separate out the conversation around fat, and we needed to bring the good fat back in. Then we moved the cultural nutritional conversation into carbohydrates. And it was like, oh, carbohydrates are bad. And everybody went keto, and they were scared of carbohydrates. But then there was some challenges with that, because there are some good carbs that like nature's provided us with, like fruit and sweet potatoes, and some of leafy green vegetables, or actually a lot of vegetables have carbohydrates. So we needed to be able to separate out what I call man-made carbohydrates and nature-made carbohydrates. So it seems like with each one of these trends, there's been a deeper discussion that needs to be had. And with protein bubbling up to the surface and everybody talking about how it is the hero macronutrient, videos like this are really important, because now we've got to dive into the nuance of protein so that you can understand it a little bit better, so that you make the right choices and it actually works for you, that these new emerging trends actually get these results that you're looking for. So with that in mind, what we do know about protein, it is the most satiating of all macronutrients. So what that means is it's the most satisfying, it kills hunger better than carbohydrates or even fat. Now, I think of fat as like putting the brakes on hunger, but it's not necessarily satisfying. Protein can put the brakes on hunger, but it's also very, very satisfying. So you're not only pleasing your brain, but you're stabilizing your blood sugar, which ultimately is going to help with weight loss. Now, the other thing about protein that's really important is that every time you eat protein, you're increasing something called thermogenesis. And thermogenesis is where the heat in your body heats up to be able to burn fat. Now, I've been teaching you all about this fasting lifestyle where you become a really good sugar burner and you become a really good fat burner. And what we know about being a really good fat burner, like the best way to be the best fat burner, is fasting, which is why so many of you have had such great results with fasting. But when we add protein in to our food, when we're over here in the sugar burner system, we actually increase our fat burning capabilities because we're increasing thermogenesis. So that's why it's such an important nutrient, because we can facilitate a faster metabolism by making sure that we eat more protein. Now, before I go into these, don't worry, I'm not trying to avoid it. I just want to give you some kind of big concept so that you don't just walk out of here of this video and think that the foods I'm about to show you are like the ones that you have to eat to improve fat loss. I want you to understand the concept. And one of the most logical questions that we're having right now around protein is how much? And what I have found is that this recommendation of 1 gram of protein for every pound of ideal body weight is a great guideline, but it falls apart in 2 areas. It falls apart when it takes a lot of work to eat that much protein all day long. So it can become really difficult, which over time becomes a disciplined habit you can't stick to. And it falls apart in certain people who have microbiomes that convert protein into glucose. And some of you, if you've been increasing the amount of protein in your diet and you're gaining weight, it's possible that you are actually have one of those microbiomes that converts protein into glucose. So I like really keeping it simple and saying at every single meal I eat, I want to get at least 30 grams of protein. But for the sake of this video, just ask yourself, what like 7 ounces of a chicken breast is about 30 grams of protein, at least, or even more. So I know that like 6 eggs are 30 grams of protein. I know when I make a protein shake, a lot of times my protein shakes have like a 15-gram protein per scoop, so I'll do 2 scoops. So just be looking at that 30 gram as your target with each meal. And I think that way we can steer in the right direction. With all those principles out of the way, now let's talk about these 4 best proteins. And number 1 is one that I personally love, is Greek yogurt. So with Greek yogurt, what works with Greek yogurt is threefold. 1, it is the most protein-rich yogurt. So when you walk and you're looking at your yogurt aisle, if I just said eat more yogurt, not all yogurts have the same protein amount. Greek yogurt has the highest amount of protein. The second thing about Greek yogurt is it has a high amount of fat. So now we've got protein and we've got fat combined together. So our hunger, we're going to increase that satiation. Our hunger won't be as bad. Our blood sugar is not going to skyrocket. Throw some blueberries on there. And now you go watch the video I did on stem cells, because blueberries can help regenerate stem cells for brain function. So a simple breakfast of Greek yogurt with blueberries can be incredibly powerful. Oh, the other thing about Greek yogurt is that it's high in Lactobacillus. And there was a really interesting study that I found that showed that people who consumed Lactobacillus as a part of their weight loss diet lost significantly more weight than people with the same diet that didn't have that added probiotic in. So remember that your gut microbiome is going to help to control blood sugar. So when we eat Greek yogurt, we are improving that type of bacteria called Lactobacillus, which is ultimately helping with blood sugar regulation, which ultimately helps with weight loss. Okay, number 2, and this is one I'm really trying to bring back because I feel like we got lost in the headlines on this one, and that is tofu. So tofu, basically, as many of you know, is at the base of that is soy. It's a phytoestrogen. Soy is a form of plant-based estrogen that can help women increase their estrogen loads. So incredibly important for perimenopause and menopausal women. Remember, when estrogen dips as we go through those perimenopausal years, what happens is we become more insulin resistant. So there's a lot of ways to bring estrogen up, and one of them can be in tofu. So there's a couple of things I want to tell you about. And I'm going to link these studies for you in the notes for those of you that are soy hands. But there were 2 things I want to tell you on soy. So one is that 2012 study on menopausal women found that increasing estrogen caused significant fat loss. And then a 27 review showed that eating soy-based protein in particular helped women lose weight. So I personally find tofu easy to eat. Edamame is another thing that I often will eat. And I feel like we need to invite soy back into the female health conversation, because somehow we completely lost our way and we villainized this poor food product that can be so beneficial, not only to your sex hormones, but can be incredibly beneficial for weight loss. Number 3 is fatty fish. Now, what's really cool about fatty fish is it's high in omega-3s. And we need omega-3s, not only for inflammation, but guess what? Those of you that are like, I just want to get rid of the belly fat. Here's a really interesting study that showed that they did 2 groups of adults with identical diets. And the only difference between these 2 groups was they allowed one group to add in omega-3s as a supplement. And what they found was that the group that added in omega-3s as a supplement lost significantly more belly fat than the group that didn't add in omega-3s. We also know that these omega-3 nutrients or fatty acids are precursors for a lot of sex hormones. Specifically, our good friends, estrogen and progesterone You need good omega-3s to be able to make those. It's like an ingredient prerequisite for making these powerful hormones that many of us, or we all are, not even many of us, we are all losing as we go through the menopausal years. So adding fish back in, especially fatty fish like salmon. You may also try adding in some things like mackerel is a really good one. I found a long list that I thought was really important to point out, because some of you are like, I don't like salmon, but when we look at mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herrings, they are all really, those are real fatty fish. They're real high in omega-3s. And again, bringing that omega-3 load up is going to help not only with the sex hormone production, but it's also going to help with getting you more protein and making sure that you lose weight, especially around the belly.
Okay, check this out. I have a free fasting guide for you all. It's free. And it's going to teach you all the basics of fasting. It's going to teach you how to kill hunger when you fast, which is really cool. And it's going to show you how to break your fast, among many other things. All you got to do is click on this link right here and enjoy.
But for the sake of this video, I really want you to think, when you're thinking about fat loss, I want you to think about this metabolic switch. And I want you to think, yes, fasting is a powerful tool for losing weight. But when I go over into my sugar burner system, I need to bring my protein up. I need to bring my omega-3s up, and I can do it through the foods that I just showed you.
I know you're struggling to lose weight. It may be your fasting length. So in this video, I'm going to show you the perfect fasting length to unstick weight loss. In fact, it's such an incredible tool for weight loss. I think you should start with fasting before you change your food to be able to get into that door in for losing weight.